This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we talk hot tubs, protein bar reviews are back, and we go a little bit deep dive on some training knowledge.
Three, two, one. Why didn't the weightlifter pay rent?
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
Because he was squatting. And me, Tom Hall. Oh, we got a laugh!
Oh God.
Oh, they're fitness based now, Dan. So that's good.
Oh, that makes all the difference. That makes all the difference, doesn't it? Jesus Christ.
It's good.
Oh,
it's good.
Yeah.
Right, we have to be quick today because, well, not quick. We don't have to be quick. I left my charger at my my girlfriend's, so yeah, that's fun. I thought it was here.
Dicing with death now.
Dicing with death. So, and
what's the percentage?
We're fine. We're at 68%.
Oh, mate, we could talk for hours.
Yeah. But I have got two screens on. But I have left the screen on non-charge. The screen shouldn't be charging, so we should be fine. But I just do have a lot of things plugged into my laptop apparently. So we, and people would ask, Tom, you should probably buy two chargers. Correct. Yes, I should.
Yeah.
That is something that I've got for my watch. I know I have it for something else, but I think I haven't because I made the mistake of taking my charger. I think because I was working somewhere in London, I don't know. But Chloe also has the same laptop as me, so she has the same charger, so it was normally fine. And I think I just took it out when I was using it the other day because I've worked from there. Annoying, but basically that is one. That's a good. There you go. Good work habit for you guys. If you have a new laptop, if you don't have a new laptop, when you go to a coffee shop or something like that, go full charge and then you work until the charges run out. I like that one. I feel like Mike Samuels did a thing about that. I think that's what something like
it is. I think it is. Yeah, I think that's a thing. It does work quite well. That so thing
gives you a time frame of whatever. But obviously, if you've got an older laptop, that could be half hour. So
it's funny. I've actually just gone. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've just gone full circle. So I've gone from. I've got a desktop at the moment and I'm going to get a laptop. I've just ordered a new, one of the new Apple ones because the desktop now I've had for about 4 years old now, something like that, but it's really slow. And I'm the kind of I know about computers. Luckily I'm a bit of a geek because I've got no friends.
Look at this guy.
I've got no friends. So, but I know how to optimize things like storage and speeds and processors and how computers work.
You sound like an influencer. I know how to optimize.
I don't you worry about it. I know how to optimize. It's not like metabolisms. I can reset it, so it's fine. But and it's one of those things where it's not just that I've cluttered it full of shit and it doesn't work anymore. It's nothing to do with that. It's just slowed down and it's just really noticeable now that it's just on its last legs basically. So I'm sorry, I ordered a laptop. I'm going to get a second screen for it, and I'm going to go to that model now because the amount of times I now take my laptop with me to Mike's or we go to do work somewhere. And I'm like, oh God, I have to take my other laptop. And
that's the pro model, mate. That's what all the pros do. That's what I do.
Yeah. So that's the thing now. I'm going back to, and I've done it before. I had a screen before with my old laptop. And then I was like, no, I'll get a desktop because I just don't use it. I don't ever go to coffee shops anymore, blah, blah. And now I'm starting to work out and about a bit more. So I'm like, okay, fucking brilliant. Back to that one. But it's needed because I do need it because I need a faster processor, better storage and all that sort of shit. So
yeah, I'm assuming you went for a nice big MacBook Pro.
I did. I went MacBook Pro 14-inch though, because that's big enough, isn't it? So that's massive.
What my sign is, I don't know.
So I went 14.
13. Yeah. I got the first M1 chip one. I got that Apple processor.
I think I've got the Apple one. Yeah. I think I've got the Apple one, but I've got 2 terabytes hard drive and 32 gigabytes of memory because my desktop at the moment has got.
Ladies.
Don't worry about it. Well, the desktop at the moment has got 1 terabyte hard drive and only 8 gigabyte memory. And when I bought it, it was top of the range, at the time with Apple, when I bought the desktop. So things have evolved, So that's why I got that. So there you go.
You tuned in for health and fitness chat, and you got computing. Lovely. We'll probably have to change where our podcast goes now. All right, we got a little rundown today. It was the bank holiday weekend, but it's Eid in Dan's world.
It's like
not
Christmas over
because he's become Muslim. It's just I'm a majority of people are, aren't they? So that was enjoyable for you. Did you celebrate?
No,
Okay,
not one bit, mate.
Interesting how that happens, isn't it? Because like obviously, well, I feel like the Muslims that I know over here do kind of do stuff for Christmas. They immerse themselves, but you're saying no. Would it be frowned upon? I don't know.
No, they do. Obviously, they enjoy themselves. They celebrate a lot.
Yeah. But if you wanted to join in,
yeah,
can you celebrate it?
you could join in. Yeah, of course you could. Yeah.
What do they do?
They
I'm assuming they don't have an Eid tree. They don't have Eid clause. What's the whole
Eid clause? Clause. I think they just have a lot of food.
Oh,
because they obviously fast, don't they? A lot, and
love some dates.
Yeah, I think they just eat a lot and they celebrate, and there's fireworks and stuff. Same as any sort of holiday, I suppose, isn't it? Families get together, they eat shitloads, they sleep a lot, and there's fireworks. So.
I'm gonna make a point. I need to be a better person, and I need to know what happens during Eid and why it is happening. So, anyway, because I do have one of my trainers is Muslim, and she's obviously just gone through that. So, I've asked her so many times about how is it like, because obviously when we probably went through our degrees, Dan, we had to learn about special populations, right? And we would have learned about Ramadan and fasting and like fitness protocols and nutrition protocols and stuff like that. So, not that I remember any of it, but we definitely did have to do it. Special populations. That was a boring module, wasn't it? Interesting. Basically, we've got to talk about hot tubs because why? And I got a care. We can go into this now. I got a care package, obviously, from My Protein. Thank you, My Protein. I did want to like put a thank you for sending me this stuff, My Protein, that you gave me in exchange for work. People are like, oh, thank you, influencing. I have to write for them and do stuff for them. So that's why they send stuff. Instead of paying me cold hard cash, they pay me in produce because it's far cheaper for them. We'll look at that. But I did interesting for what I'm allowed to like pick out a certain. I have a budget that I'm allowed to spend. Basically, they send me a little code, and I have a budget that how much I can spend on their website. It's good. It's a good amount. And basically, I think I've tried. I don't really do protein shakes, so that's and like powders and all this kind of stuff. So that's like one of their big markets cancelled for me. But I do protein bars, of course. So I bought a load of different protein products, Daniel, to try, which would be good. But obviously they've got their MP clothing, so I just started doing clothes. And is this such a boring kind of thing to get? Like I bought pants. I bought socks. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I always need new pants. This is essentially free, isn't it? New socks, some trainer socks. I only bought one like three pairs of those, just to see whether they're actually good. I'm not going to get a whole load of them. Otherwise, that'd be crazy.
I hear their clothing is quite good.
I think their clothing is quite good. Yeah, it is. I've sat like in some testing stuff, and it is all right. Yeah, obviously they're going after Gymshark, so that's the kind of model and the quality that they're going after. So it's actually all right. It's getting better as well. Each year they do it, because it used to be that it's evolved from obviously when we probably started using My Protein was they just gave you kind of a free t-shirt or a free vest in a box when you bought some protein, didn't they?
Yeah.
A certain amount, like 30, 50 quid or something like that. And then they're like, here's a vest. And now they actually have a whole big MP department, MP clothing.
MP clothing.
Yeah. So I ordered an oversized hoodie, basically because my other half, obviously this happens. Why is Siri on my computer started? That was strange. Did I say Siri? She just started like
said it twice now.
Weird. Steals your hoodies. I'm sure Laura's the same, where you kind of hoodies start going missing, or jackets and stuff, to the point that it's like, hang on a minute, I don't have any at mine. So I ordered a oversized My Protein hoodie, quite like oversized clothing, like baggy stuff. It's quite nice, quite comfy. I'm not a skin tight bro. And I got oversized medium, can't fit in it.
Brilliant.
Oversized apparently means like really long, but not wide. I thought it was going to be really wide as well.
I think that the whole concept of that is gone now. I think, like, again, with gym kit, if you buy large, it can be small these days. Like, it's just,
I bought a medium, like thinking it was going to be oversized. So I needed which I feel like I'm fat now, that I'm large, oversized.
yeah,
I mean,
you are, mate.
Thank you.
Fat shaming, that, innit?
It wasn't. It was the case that I can't fit. It doesn't go over my shoulders. That's the issue. I'm not the broadest guy in the world. I'm reasonably broad, but thanks, mate. And I'm not tiny, but I'm not like fucking massive. I'm not Mike.
You're not me. You're not me.
Not you.
Do you know what
Jesus,
I mean?
yeah,
Tiny.
fucking beanpole. But yeah, so weird. That's my observation from today. So Chloe's just got a hoodie for free. Yeah, but people rave about their drops, the flavor drops. They quite like. They're good, apparently. It's cool. All right, mate. What's your take on hot tubs?
I just think they're so overrated. They are just like one of the most useless things. I think, like, I just don't get it. I just think you never spend that long in them, like, because you get all wrinkly and mingy, and they're always too hot. Like, anything's too hot.
That's such a normal thing to say.
Minging, yeah. Just like, I just think that the idea of it, like we just talked about, right? It's like if you go away on a holiday, right, and you're in a chalet overlooking a really nice view, and you got one on your balcony. You might use it once or twice on a week holiday because it's a bit novel. You don't need one in your back garden. I'm sorry, you don't need one in your back garden. It's pointless. Absolute waste of money. And I think, unfortunately, I'm just going to say it, and I don't care, right? It screams chav to me. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. It screams
so
chav.
funny because I brought this up pre-show because I went. My sister and her husband bought a house, and her husband might listen to this. I don't know, and he knows my view on it anyway. So fucking, hey Harry. And I was like, don't get it. Don't get it. It's an outside bath. Don't get it, mate. He's like, yeah, but it's really nice. It's chilling here. And I'm like, I can see Asda. From your garden. I don't want to see. No, I don't want to see that.
See, that's it. No,
it's a perfectly lovely garden, and it's a nice place in Essex. They live, but I'm like this. I was so bad. I am from Essex, but people can't pick my accent, which is purposeful. 100% purposeful.
Trained yourself, didn't you?
Yeah. I was just like, I think you're home counties. I'm like, thank you. I'm not. I'm an Essex chav. But it does just scream Essex. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I'm like,
it's going to sound awful, but I don't care. It just screams common to me. Like, it's just a bit of a common, like, I don't know, like, it's almost like it's almost like people who view it as a treat or something great, and it's like, nah.
I feel like it's more.
That's what you think's a treat. Oh dear,
it's more admin than it's worth, right? It's got to be.
They don't get used. I don't believe that I don't believe they get used more than a bath gets used. Put it that way. Like, and I don't have baths very often whatsoever, right? But I think that with hot tubs, surely the water has to be consistently warm. Otherwise, it's going to take ages to heat up, right? How long does it take to heat up? That's my question. How long does it take to heat up? Google
rise in energy costs
know.
As well. People ain't going to do this.
Well, yeah. How long does a hot tub take to heat up? Here we go. UK. But see, this is ridiculous. Between 8 to 15 hours. Oh, I tell you what. Tomorrow I fancy a hot tub, so I'll turn it on. See, so that means it's got to be warm the whole time with the cover on. Sorry, not worth it.
That's
just
expensive,
absolutely
isn't it?
Not worth it in any way. Now I know that even more so. I assumed that you could turn it on in an hour, it was warm. And even with that, I think it's overrated. Unbelievable. No chance in hell I would ever have one of them.
Don't get one of them.
Never.
I'm sure there's people listening to this show who have got them, but explain to us why.
Yeah. Give me one good reason.
Don't get me wrong. I've been in hot tubs, but at a spa or at a thing like.
Yeah, and also right, but I have as well, right, at a spa. But how often do you go and get in and 5 minutes go? Oh, all right.
I'm good.
Get out there.
Yeah.
I'm good for another year now. I'm good for a year now. I'll tell you that again.
I have a drink in one, and then I'm like, oh, this is just pleasant, and then I don't feel like I need one, but sure, I'd rather sit in the garden, like. Dan knows that. I made him sit outside all the time. I was like, yeah, sit out here. It's gravelly. Get bitten. All right. So back by popular demand, Dan, obviously,
just for I let you know, just before we go any further, I did post this on my Instagram story already about 5 minutes ago, and we've already had 9 votes for overrated and 0 for underrated. So I think we can be safe in the knowledge that they are completely overrated on that. So there we go.
Should I put it up? We'll record for another half hour. We'll see what the results we got.
See what the results are at there.
Where have you done it? I'll do it the same.
Yeah, they are completely. I just useless. But there you go.
There we go. I've screenshotted yours, and then I'm just going to put it on as mine because I can't bother to do that kind of.
I had to go find a picture of a hot tub.
Yeah, exactly. You got a picture. I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Well, no, because I was like, if I got a picture, because I looked on the Google, and if I got a picture of a hot tub overlooking an amazing.
I'm sorry.
View,
What did you just say? I looked on the Google.
On Google. No, I said Google. On Google. And I found some that were like really picturesque hot tubs. I was like, no, that's not what I want a picture of, because that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about hot tubs in back gardens. We're not talking about like the picturesque version. Just overrated. Right then, Tom, what else is overrated? I'll tell you what else is overrated, in my opinion, is personal trainers' knowledge of training and anatomy and things like that, Tom. That's what I think is overrated. What about that for a segue?
I mean, you've segued away from something I was going to do prior to that.
So. Never mind. I thought I was being smart. See, I don't have the show notes. I just rock up. Tom has the show notes. So, all right. Well, what's next then?
I need to do this though. Basically,
how long does it take you?
Well, number one, I select questions instead of polls, and that was a bit stupid. So, and I wanted to see exactly what you've written outside hot tubs in the back garden.
Yeah, it has to be in the back garden because that's the key element of it. I think it's just
hot. Oops. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, just talk amongst yourselves. I would introduce the next topic, but I've got no idea what we're talking about. So
well, all right. So obviously, back by popular demand is I brought some snacks, some treats, all protein stuff. Because what we did,
I can't help with this.
Yeah, I know. This is all on me. This is the annoying thing. But obviously, people have longed for these to come back. A few of my trainers at First Base as well have been like, I love those. Why aren't you doing them anymore? I was like, and we said that because Dan lives in a world of no protein, or no protein, whatever. So we can move on to snacks. I feel like that's a good thing because people will be immersed into Dan's culture a little more, and he'll be able to try lots of weird things. And I think you like discovering new snacks, which is something I'd say is one of your passions.
Yeah.
Underrated. Understand?
We'll get there eventually, guys. Don't worry. Just skip forward this bit a little bit. Just a few
there we go.
more minutes.
I'm done. So I won't try them all because I purposely went through my proteins website, and these are the real my protein brands, unfortunately. But we're doing a custom review. It's fine. I'm only contracted to talk about random things like collagen and stuff like that. So I picked a load of stuff over the next, I guess, few weeks that I've never tried. And it looks quite cool. So I think we'll just do 2 of these. I picked out 4, and Dan, so Dan can participate in this. He can pick them. So we got this one.
Okay, the drumstick one. That is going to be dreadful. I'm just throwing out
layered drumstick. We got that one. We got a My Vegan coated crispy wafer.
Yeah, that one might be all right. It's crispy. So.
Unfortunately, these don't actually carry like really good branding on this packet.
Yeah, so I can really recommend that one.
But they're these
choco balls.
Okay. So I'm not too sure what they are. I think they're like those aero balls things you get.
And they're not going to be that good, mate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. And then apparently they did a collab.
Oh, Hotel Chocolat, hey?
Yeah, that's a bit premium, isn't it? My protein and Hotel Chocolat. So interesting. So which 2 would you like me to taste?
Drumstick one, definitely, because I think it's going to be horrible. So that's definitely up there. And then the Choco protein balls, because they're a bit different.
They're a bit different. They were in the snack category. So, which is cool. I did get some protein crisps from there. A big fan of crisps. So, if it's got protein in it, I probably wouldn't purchase it. I'd just buy normal crisps and eat a chicken. So yeah, that's what people get. Did anybody watch The Apprentice? Anyone? I'm speaking to you then.
No, I didn't.
And the one, there was a girl that was just really into her fitness, and she was into the like final 4, I think, like that. And then her big idea was she was going to do alcoholic beverage protein drinks. And she was like,
oh yeah, because that's what people think about when they drink alcohol.
She was, and it was like fucking awful. And like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that market has been tried to go into. And the reason why they were like, oh, why have there nobody done this? It's got protein in it now. It's because it fucking tastes disgusting. Also, when you're out in the lash, you don't give a shit about the protein content that you're doing. And you're like, all right, I have it in food. It's ridiculous. But yeah, all right, this looks kind of, that's what it looks like.
It's not going to be good, mate. It's just not going to be good. There's no way a drumstick bar is going to be good. Like, it's not going to, or either that or it's not going to taste like a drumstick.
20 grams of protein, 2.3 grams of sugars. I don't know how many calories. Kind of important. Ruffle. The packaging is terrible.
I think they're going to try and claim that it's like white chocolate and raspberry, and that's going to.
Yeah, probably.
Nah.
Calories 215. There you go.
Okay, that's pretty decent.
So it looks like it's got the drumsticky stuff on the top.
So yeah, but it's gonna have a layer of crunch in it. It's probably got a layer, and drumsticks aren't crunchy. Exactly what it shouldn't be crunchy, should it? So I bet it's a bit crunchy. I bet it's a bit raspberry, but I bet it's not anything like a drumstick.
Nothing like a drumstick.
No, I told you.
It's okay. I wouldn't. No, actually, the aftertaste is bad.
Told you it'd be bad.
It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. The inside looks quite nice. Yeah.
It's just, I just would never go.
It's quite
I would
nicely
just never.
layered.
I would just never think, oh, let's make a protein bar. So what? Most people would think chocolates, biscuits, things like that. Sweets, yeah. I'll do a Parma Violet one.
Oh, could you imagine? They are the worst sweets. Like, oh, get out. I'd rather Werther's Originals. They're better than them. Parma Violets. Who eats them? How are they still going? Bonkers.
No idea.
I feel like they just made
a few more. Just going to say, I've got a few more underrated votes coming from some people. Oh, these are getting. I'm going to message these people.
These people are getting blocked.
See ya.
My boy.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to have a little sip and then have some choco balls.
Choco ball. It's not his first time he's had choco balls. I'll tell you that.
Interesting. I bought a new Chili's bottle and I got the sports caplet. Does this, yes or no, sound like a turkey?
Yes, it sounds very strange.
Doesn't it? Very strange.
Yeah.
Chili's, sort yourself out.
I'm not sure where I sit with the whole like reusable bottles and stuff like that. Like
reusable is better than reusable is better than recyclable.
Well, yeah, obviously. Like I don't mean like from that point of view. I don't mean it from that point of view. I mean like things like that. Like how can you fuck up a sports cap on a bottle? Like it's been around for long enough. Like how is that making that sound? Like there's always something wrong with them.
The sad thing
like,
is
they don't close properly. Like, the bottle tops don't work. Do you know? And you're like, how have we not mastered this yet? Like, come on.
The sad thing is, I could go get a Lucozade top and it'd be better.
Exactly my point. Like, how is it that the ones you can throw away that cost less, right, are better? I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Why is it making that noise? It's really frustrating. I'm like, it's a bit weird. Protein balls, you get 35 grams, 158 calories, 15 grams of protein in a little packet. Yeah.
Oh, they sound crunchy.
They are really crunchy. Yeah. That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting the aero like bubbles. What are they called? Bubbles? Aero bubbles?
Yeah.
Aero. I think they're called bubbles, aren't they? Oh wow, they're weird. They're good. I like these. The package is terrible. It's almost like I've got a slightly protein Nesquik ball.
Okay,
that's what it
tastes.
Does it
taste chocolatey? It tastes good.
It tastes chocolatey. Yeah. Not as much as a Nesquik would, but it's a kind of a 80% the way towards chocolatey as Nesquik. I would quite happily have that as cereal. So I don't know what that says about it.
Now Now that is an idea.
Yeah.
Tom,
And we all
put
know
some milk with that tomorrow morning for breakfast.
and
See how
that
much
is.
you would have in a serving and see whether it makes enough that you would have it as a bowl of cereal. Challenge.
Interesting, because we all know like Smarties cereal. That is just Smarties in a bowl with milk. Lovely. You can do that. You're all adults. You can order whatever you like off Deliveroo. It's madness. And we're totally unsupervised 24/7. It's insane, isn't it? All right, so we'll move on. Out of those two, ranking, the Bulls win it. But the annoying thing is, obviously, I can't order singles from my protein. I've got a whole pack of these drumstick things. So I guess some of my lucky students at Third Space are going to be getting some protein bars.
Yeah. No. I'm treating you to a protein bar.
I'm treating you. Here, thanks for coming to education. Well, thanks, Tom. Lovely. All right. Yeah. I'm sure a couple of them will listen to this and they'll be like, don't bring that shit. All right. So we're going to talk about just the training stuff. It's something that I actually quite like doing is quizzes. I love a quiz. Love a quiz. You cannot get away from quizzes in the UK, I swear. Whole Saturday night is just quiz. I feel like Dan loves a quiz though. But I play Wordle, I play Worldle, I play Hurdle, all these fun things.
All the dolls.
Yeah. And I quite like these little, all this kind of thing. Keeps your brain active, doesn't it? So I put a little quiz up on my Instagram, and I will put a post about it because I'm sure people won't listen to me on here. But you're going to get a more expansive view on the what we're going to talk about here. And I'm assuming people who listen to this probably have Instagram or probably follow at least one of us. Well, that'd be bad if people would listen to the show but followed one of us and not the other. That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Awkward, isn't it? Well, no, that's part and parcel of social media, right? Is that you follow people you enjoy or you like, and but some people might listen to this, might like our dynamic, but they might not like one of us and the way we do things.
Sure, yeah.
You know, like I wouldn't be offended if someone was like, "I like your podcast, like your dynamic, but I don't follow you on Instagram," because they may not be interested in what I say or do or like me in any way, which is fine.
They're just here for the tones. Lovely.
We are people who listen to this podcast who I used to get messages from regularly on Instagram who I haven't heard from for a long, long time. So I assume they maybe just don't like me anymore, or they got bored of me or whatever. Maybe they don't follow me anymore. I don't know, but I think that's normal. To be fair, I think people like the routine of a podcast, of the same people, the same voices, the same viewpoints, but they don't necessarily need to then follow you on Instagram. Like, I think the connection you probably have on a podcast is probably deeper than it would be on an Instagram page. Yeah. So I don't take too much offense to it, other than the fact there's probably people listening to this who would probably like to reach out and ask for coaching from me, and they haven't yet. So that's annoying. That's annoying. Not gonna lie to you.
That's a line. Jesus, you can do that for me as well. But yeah.
Like, that's not the point. Is if you're not following Instagram, then how are you going to message me? So it's like, well, listen to me here. Like,
I will, if you want Dan's number, I will read it out now. All right. So we're going to talk about, I put up a couple of quizzes. And I'm going to talk about sled pushing slightly because I talked about it today and I've had it in my programming. I actually did an educational piece with the coaches at Third Space on sled pushing. And it was on the back of chatting to Chris Toombs, like VBT guy. And Dan knows I've been into more velocity-based intent training probably since he's known me. And I want people to move quickly, fast, and powerfully. Well, and he's the same. Just I quite like it. And it's probably how I guide a lot of what I do. And the sled pushing thing was I guess this can be pondering the question for Daniel as well. And it's something that I am assuming we have quite a similar training philosophy. I'm probably more on the athletic basis than you, and you're a little bit more aesthetics and get more body goals than me. But we align in the same kind of methodologies. But do you need to squat and or deadlift
for
split squat?
No, for what? In general,
for exercise? Yeah.
No. For anything. I say the answer is for anything. You don't have to. Like, no way. You don't have to. Unless you're a powerlifter.
Unless, correct. Yeah, then that is powerlifting and probably Olympic lifting, I'm guessing.
I think there's zero need to. And I think a lot of my clients get quite surprised how little I program deadlifts and back squats or front squats, things like that, and how I do a lot of the single leg variations. My clients do deadlift, but they track my deadlift as well. So it's kind of like, is that really a deadlift? But anyway, but it's one of those things where I usually only put it in if they ask for it, because some people do ask to do it because they like it and they enjoy it and stuff like that. But the majority of people, I look at their programs and I'm doing literally every single leg variation across the plan. And then if I need a gap filled with a deadlift or a back squat, I'll be like, okay, cool, now we can do double leg version because we've done like variations of it. So
I'm running out of shit.
I just think that are hugely overrated for the majority of people. For bang for your buck, for what they're looking to actually achieve with training, they don't need to put themselves through that.
So 100%. And when I was speaking to Chris, and this realms into sled pushes, which is an interesting variation of, basically it is horizontal force. It's kind of a combination of both deadlifting and squatting, and unilateral work, and you have to be like pushing. You can push a heavy sled, you can push a light sled, you can go all the way through the kind of strength spectrum of it, right? And then you can go a little bit more torque, you can put your hands down a little bit more, all that kind of fun stuff, right? So there's variations of it. But what he laid into me, it was just like, and I'm assuming we both know this from working in professional sport, and we know it probably now from working with clients. And I don't think a lot of people realize this. And I'm all for, like, we want to try and make our clients do a lot of things that we align with and we want them to do. But what if they plain just don't fucking like it? They don't like squatting. And this is what Chris was like. He had like Leicester Tigers lads, professional rugby players. He was like, Tom, there are 3 people that you were talking about. Like when we train people, there are like gym bunnies, there are athletes, and there are players. And I was like, these gym guys or clients, that's fine. They want to go to the gym. They're reaching out to your help. That's cool. There are athletes, which are both players and want to go to the gym. And then there are players who fucking don't want to go to the gym. They are good at playing sport. They are good at what they do, but they don't want anything to do with it because they don't like it. So if you can find something that they like, i.e. sled pushing, and they can see the transfer of force and the transfer of skill, like it is pretty good for rugby, right? You push a man, right? You're going to push this thing. And it's a good kind of like, all right, we can still train hard. We can still do probably what we can. We just don't have any eccentric phasing. That's the only thing. We probably just need to learn to do that somewhere else somehow. So it kind of hit home for me on that. I was just like, maybe we sled push. So I put them because I was like, I enjoy these way more than probably back squatting. 100%. It's just annoyingly the admin on a sled is really annoying because you have to keep going and get the plates, put them on, put them on. And you're like, oh, I don't really know how much I'm pushing, all this kind of shit. So hence why when I put a video up today, it was there was like sandbags on it because they're closer to the sled. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I'm not walking back over there. I've already put like 100 kilos of plates on it. I'm gonna put another 100 kilos of sandbags on it. And I was like, this is better. Easier to pick up. Wonderful. But yeah, it's interesting. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. The actual they talk about it, what your client likes, but they probably don't implement it that much. I don't think likes and dislikes to achieve the same goal. It's not like bicep curls. Like it's fine. Those big bang for bucks exercises, the compounds that everybody does. And you're like, oh, really? Everybody? I don't have to. Go around it. I'm the same as you don't. Single leg variations get used a lot. So
it's just like you're looking for a squatting pattern, right? Or a triple extension pattern. Like that's what you're looking for.
Mechanically
really
similar. That's all I'm looking for. Like fuck me. It doesn't matter. And if like shockingly, I don't know, luckily how I pivot myself into or portray myself for online coaching is I tend to train a lot of coaches and athletic based people who have probably got a recreational sport they play, and that's who I coach. So if you've got that, reach out to me. But they'll end up doing sled pushes and doing that kind of athletic-based performance stuff. And I'm like, oh, they're doing this stuff. And why aren't we just doing boring stuff? And I'm like, because it's got no application to what you want to be good at. So let's do that. Like crazy shit. Right. So the 2 quizzes we went off on one of them. Isometric contraction one was fun. And then I did one on pull-up variations. So we're going to talk about a little bit of, I guess, muscular contraction. And I don't know whether it's a case of, I'm assuming most of the people who follow me, right? Like at least like 300-400 people view my stories when they do. Like I put stories up, right? Which I think is a reasonably high percentage of about 2,000 followers for viewing stories. And I'm assuming most of the people are probably looking for, because I spoke to a couple of the PT coaching guys and they were like, yeah, it was really good. Like I've never even seen that exercise before. And now I wanted to go try it. And I was like, awesome. All right, cool. People are learning. That's why that's why I do my Instagram, for more of an educational purposes, more than like Dan trying to make fun of everything. So I want to see more of the like dancing stuff, but yeah. I can't remember what I was on about now. But yeah, do you feel like I feel like we went a little bit back and forth on people don't need to go and upskill their training knowledge or stuff they probably need to learn about business. But from the results on here, I think people just need to just maybe learn a little bit more, or maybe just the base knowledge. I think
that's the thing. I think that is based on our assumption that they know enough. So like, for example, I've seen the stories that you're on about. And I think I would assume that people would know. People would just know. And I think that's the key thing is that, okay, we need your training and nutrition knowledge to be at this level. Then you can worry about the business stuff. But clearly there are people who maybe need to think about that a little bit more in terms of their training knowledge. Like I do not claim to have superior training knowledge. Like I'll happily admit, like, for example, more than most people I know actually probably know in terms of training, in terms of like the biomechanics and stuff. Like,
oh, thanks, Dan.
I don't like giving. You can tell I don't like giving compliments. I really didn't want to say anything too good there, but and I don't ever claim. I come to you for questions about training, but I also feel like I also am quite way above average in terms of training knowledge as well. Like I know that, but even looking at these stories that you've put up, like, it just takes you 20 seconds looking at it and go, okay, what do those words mean? Okay, cool. I can work it out. Like without even knowing, like I've never been taught the thing you're about to talk about, but I just know from understanding the words that you used to go, okay, well, I know what that's going to look like. That's what worries me a little bit with it, I think, is it's the terminology. So for example, you talk about it first, then I'll sort of go through why I don't understand how people are confused.
Yeah, so I did so my lad Nick, he trains with me twice a week, and then he's got like he's got an option conditioning day that he does by himself. I'm not being anywhere near him when he does that, so he's doing like strength one day, and this is his kind of power day, right? So but as a precursor for his athletic power, I have thrown in these isometric contractions. So it's relatively simple.
Thompson is Joel Seedman.
I know, right? 90 degrees, always 90 degrees, nothing else. There was no eccentric contraction, though. That's the only thing. I was not trying to combine eccentrics with isometrics because I don't believe they happen at the same time. Lol.
No, they
don't. So, yeah, I did what type of muscle contraction are we doing? We had concentric, which I will let them off because there was a very small concentric contraction at the start to get into position. So I guess there's a caveat of that, but I would assume we'd go for the majority. Then we had eccentric. Everybody knows what eccentric is, right? Lowering a weight, lowering something down. Isometric yielding and isometric overcoming. And these are two different things. But but for example, I have to write these in my plans of like overcoming isometric, and it'll be like push against a bar or push against something compared to hold in position. Okay. Hold in a position against like gravity. So yielding means basically you could yield under the load that you've got, right? Yeah. So you would give into it. So if Dan, for example, I'm sure he programs in pauses into certain lifts for people. A pause would be for yielding. You're yielding under that load, but you're pausing there, but you're able to overcome. And overcoming, isometric, you cannot, it is trying to move an immovable object. So, for example, pushing a wall, pushing Dan, he's so strong. And then, or like kind of what we've done there is, I don't think Nick can lift the squat rack. So he is split squatting.
I think you're underestimating.
From a position, from base position, where he's in hip flexion, and he's trying to lift the rack off the floor. That's his cue. I'm trying to get him, and he's going to push as hard as that's max effort. Isometric eccentrics? No, definitely not. Isometric contractions. Okay, so overcoming. So he's trying to overcome that force, and it's sparking up massively. And then he goes and does some crazy fucking verts off the back of it because he's getting pretty. And it's also pretty CNS fatiguing, to be fair. But it's a good way to prep someone to go and do athletic movement and not actually have them go for a full concentric and eccentric phase and feel really gassed. So I quite like them. We do it for I'm sure Dan's used something called PAP, pre-activation or post-activation. We've got potentiating. We do this in one of the courses, which I teach, and we talk about PAP, and we use one of these as an intervention. So you lift or you go do some light vertical jumps. Then I would ask them to go do a overcoming isometric, like 3 sets of max effort. Then they come back after about 5 minutes, and then they try to do their jumps again. They've improved. Shock. All right, we've just sparked up some muscle bender. So, but I think it's I was just shocked that there was quite a big discrepancy. But now I'm thinking I'm there to educate as well. So I just wanted to kind of see, these are stuff I use in my programs. So if you were to train with me, this is stuff that I like doing. I like talking about all that kind of crap because it's good for you, and it's easy. Isometric contractions are great. They get people strong in certain bits, and it's super fucking easy to implement because for all intents and purposes, I can do that at home. And I don't have to pull against, because I think we all did this. Possible. I know I did it in a series for PTC when we were doing split squats and stuff, or deadlifts, and I put a towel underneath my feet and I tried to pull the towel. I couldn't break the towel. I'm not that strong. So that was an overcoming isometric contraction. Cool. We can do that. So yeah, fun stuff.
I think I also added, like, in terms of, like you said there about that, the yielding ones, like I added, in terms of like making an exercise harder, you can add that into a movement. It makes the exercise harder. Like that, again, we did that during lockdowns, which was hold this weight in this position and don't move and stay there. And yes, it's sore, isn't it? It's painful. Yeah. So
it's exercise variability. And I think people kind of, it's definitely something I see from, I guess students. One thing they almost run out of ideas. They're like, "Oh, we've already done all the exercises and we've written down 20." I'm like, "What? What about contraction types? All this kind of fun stuff." We're like, "All right, let's play around with those." And I understand isometric contraction just gets taught as one thing. That is it. It's just a hold. And yet, I know if I were to hold you down whilst you tried to do a push-up, that is a very different sensation to holding a stiff arm plank. Agree? But according to SimSpa or whatever the fuck they are, that is just they are 2 isometric contractions. They're the same, and we know they're not, right? They're doing very different things. Cool. That's lesson number 1. But I'm gonna do this in a post. I put up a thing saying to people want me to explain, and annoyingly, everybody's voted for long form reel. And I really wanted just to do stories.
Got to do it now, mate. People
I have to do work now, unfortunately. But well, should we check in with the hot tub situation?
Oh yeah, let me see. I think I have to remove some of these followers, to be honest. But let me look.
I mean, you're going to be shocked at mine right now.
I am up to, oh my good lord.
I've had 9 votes. So I put it up like. So 50 people have looked at it, 9 people have voted. So
well, we're currently at 68% overrated and 32% underrated.
Your followers are better than mine. Look at this graph. That is not the wrong way around.
Tom, sort your followers out, mate.
7 votes for underrated and then 2 for overrated. Unfortunately, looking through this, one of these people is one of my clients who have picked
Oh.
underrated.
Oh, well, their training plan's got a lot harder, hasn't it?
I know. Oh dear, my friends. So good luck, buddy. That's not going to go well for you. Anyway,
everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Look, and it's okay to be wrong. Like, don't worry about it. It's
as long as you're okay being wrong, then that's absolutely fine. All right. And then our second one we're going to talk about. So let's talk about pull-ups. Okay. So I'm going to talk about 3 different variations, essentially, of pull-up, and we're not going to use grip as a variation. Okay. We're going to talk about a little bit of muscle contraction again. This is an interesting one as well, because this one was far too even. This was like, again, about 80 to 100, whatever people voting. 42% were wrong on this, were incorrect, let's say. So, and I would urge, if you were in the 42%, just go do it. Like, learn by doing. That was one thing that I liked when I worked with Dan in a gym, is we would play around with exercise to see whether it would be harder or like whether this did something, or you kind of just have a little kind of play in it. That's what I do when I'm like, oh, I see a really cool thing from Instagram. I go, oh, all right, that looks like something I can implement. I'm going to go do it, see what happens, and have a little think about it. Then I implement it. Because I might, if it feels like a sack of shit and I can't do it, no chance my clients are doing it. Anyway, pull-ups. So option number 1 is a normal pull-up. Okay. So Dan, what would you say a normal pull-up would look like?
Legs straight, and then pull up, chin over the bar.
Yeah, legs straight and just pull yourself up, but legs continue to stay
no
straight.
movement.
Okay?
No movement, just none of this
movement.
none of this kipping shit or any of that crap.
Correct. Yeah, no kipping pull-ups here. Right, so they stay straight. So the hip is in extension. Good.
Extension.
Okay, so we're holding extension, which is wonderful. But even if you do this kind of business where your feet go behind you and you like hook them up or something, your hip is still in extension. Okay, so this means your like abs and stuff around your pelvis and your abdominals and thorax and stuff is also extended. Okay, so it's chilled out. Yeah, it's not contracted. Okay, it's not shortened, it is lengthened, so it is relaxed. Okay, so which is all fine. It's still got a little bit of tension in it because you have to pull up, but it's relaxed. It's not really contracting. All right. So the second option, Dan, is this thing we don't like to see, but you can program it in if you're trying to get to your pull up. What would that be, my friend?
Once you do your pull up, if you start to struggle, you can then drive your knees up from a normal position where your legs are completely straight. If you then drive your knees up and you kind of pull your knees up towards your chest as you do a pull up, you'll find that little squeeze and contraction of your abs will help you get a little bit further up and may get you over a sticking point.
Correct. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. And that's using mechanics basically and contractions to achieve that goal, right? Because the goal of the pull up is, shockingly enough, to pull up. Couldn't give a shit how you normally get there, if I'm really honest. And then we'll work on that after you get there.
I could if you kip. I could.
If you kip, yeah. That's it.
You're a CrossFit gym and you're doing a pull up. I've got an issue.
So what's happening there is we're going from hip. Obviously, we can see the hip is moving, right? So in turn, the abdominals are going to contract. Everything that kind of on top of that hip is kind of moving up, and then we're kind of like holding that position. We know when we do hanging leg raises, probably. I think people know what those are. When you lift your legs up, it's harder than it is when you're extended. I would say that, and your abs are contracting. I hope so. I think that's what people do when they do hanging leg raises. Just to provide context there. Everybody knows what those are. And then because of the abdominal contraction, it enables you to pull a little bit harder, and we get into that nice position at the top. And then our third option was the one that I programmed into Nick because he's a fucking athlete. And it's the same. I think this was in the same session. I'm assuming so because I was videoing a few things. I can't with the video multiple times over several sessions. So he was holding hip flexion. So my cue for him, before he starts, he does a dead hang. His hips are extended when he hangs, and then he goes into hip flexion. So it's almost like I give the cue, look like you're sitting on a seat, please. I want you to look like you're sitting on a seat. Lovely. Everybody knows what that feels like and what they look like when they do that. Okay. From that position, because you're in that kind of almost hanging leg raise top position, you're going to go and do a pull-up. But that is harder than normal. They see it's not easy. It is definitely harder because the force of contraction that you have to put through your abs and to hold that isometric position that you're already in is really tough. So that was what I was trying to allude to. But I'm assuming most people would have done a pull-up and their legs come up and it aids them, whereas it's not already contracted and is maintaining contraction for it to actually hinder them. So it works in a different way. So yeah, that's my little knowledge bomb, mate.
You go. But I think you should do it once a week. You should do a little trainer's corner, trainer's corner,
Trainer's corner.
Get some upskill and some questions like that. But in all seriousness, obviously they're quite advanced things that I suppose, you're going over and talking about, like we talked about, like say training knowledge and stuff like that. They're things that, again, I think most people, if I'm being honest, aren't including in their training programs. They're just things that they don't know about, so they're not therefore including them. And correct, I think this is where, we talked about it's okay. Let's imagine that you have a client who doesn't like doing deadlifts or doing squats or things like that. And it's like, okay, this is a way you can increase strength and performance without, causing, I suppose, an increased likelihood of injury and things like that. Like there's more than one type of muscular contraction, as we just discussed, right?
Yeah.
And I think so much of what we see in gyms is so focused on bodybuilding, for want of a better term, because most people, that's what they want to achieve, right? But we know that you can achieve the same thing whilst also becoming better in terms of performance and movement quality and all those things as well, right? I think that we know that things have moved on a little bit since then, and that that you can get big muscles and look good just by training properly, rather than just doing machine-based stuff and just doing bicep curls and shit like that, right? But I think you can still, for want of a better term, change lives doing the basic training way. Whereas actually with you, it's a case of your level of knowledge and how you're applying these things is just at a slightly higher level.
I just want people to fucking, this is the be all and end all, okay? I want people to train their lower body athletically and train their upper body to get jacked. That is what most people should do.
I think, and the other thing as well, realistically, I think for anyone is that the amount of movements that require your whole body anyway is that you shouldn't really be separating them out. Like there's no reason for you to be thinking like that. And like for example, it's unlikely you're going to see someone who's got a very, very powerful upper body and a very, very really weak lower body. It's not going to happen because the power comes from lower. Likewise, you're not going to find someone who's really powerful legs who can't, use the upper body in a powerful way. It's just these things don't happen, and vice versa. You're just not going to see it. When people talk about, and I talk about this all the time, people with mobility, like I had this come up the other day on a check-in with someone, and they were saying that their mobility isn't great in these certain areas. And I was like, yeah, but it's not about you stretching your hips. It's your whole body is immobile. Like you are immobile. Like it's not about your thoracic spine. Like you don't meet someone, like I said, who's got an amazing thoracic spine mobility and then their hips are stupidly tight. You don't see it. It's your whole body moves as one thing. And I think the more that I've learned with training, the more that obviously we've spoken, and obviously with our time working together, is that you just realize how all this stuff's interconnected. I just don't meet many people who have got extremely tight calves, but actually everything else is really, really mobile. It's like, no, actually, like it's all one thing that you train together. And that I think it's the same with power, and it's the same with strength, and the same with all these sorts of things. And unfortunately, because so many people just focus on muscle building, they actually just make themselves worse in the long run, because it doesn't carry over to many other things, because they still sit at their desk all day. They still don't train for mobility. They still look shit and feel shit, and they can't do the things they want to do, even though they look good. And I think sometimes it's a case of you need a blend of all those things. And like I said, there's no one I've met who is powerful and strong and doesn't have a good semi-decent physique. Like this just doesn't happen. No. Whereas I see people with a semi-decent physique who aren't powerful, who aren't strong, like who can't move. So it's one of those where, why would you not train that way if you can have both? Why would you not? I think it's more fun as well. Like it's more fun. Like, you learn more. Fun.
Fuck me.
All that sort of stuff. But
like also, it's just like I think what you were talking about on your you did a post, didn't you, the other day? It was like 3 sets of 10. And it was just like, fucking hell, there are other rep ranges. Jesus Christ. You train for other stuff, believe me. Like, I did a volume day today. I did 6s. I'm just like, that's enough volume. Trust me, it's enough volume. It's okay. You can definitely do more. It's just that I prefer not to. I'm just like, I'm done. It's fine. It's just that's my volume day
Yeah.
done. And I manipulate loads more than reps. And the reps very rarely go above fucking 10. Jesus Christ, I ain't got time for that. Too long. A rep should be, it's madness. I'm going to start playing with a VB, a velocity-based training app as well that somebody has sent me. So I'll give recommendations. Look out, clients. You're going to be using it if we do this. I'm also doing. I think I'm going to do like a little combine, Dan, a group coaching combine or group combine. Maybe I'll dip into Dan's group coaching knowledge. I might have to watch his video. Fuck me.
Yeah, mate, go check it out.
I don't think I can watch you too seriously.
We didn't take it seriously. I wouldn't worry about it.
No, that's the point. I'm not going to learn anything. I'm going to be like, oh, these dickheads. But anyway, if anybody's signed up,
isn't there?
If anybody's signed up to Stridist and probably is enjoying Dan and Mike's exposure week. That sounds weird. What is it?
That does sound very strange. Takeover week.
Takeover week. There we go. Yeah. I think you can reach out to them and thank them more than anything else. Because the group stuff is going to be. I think everybody wants to do it, but nobody knows how to. So it's quite funny because Dan and Mike have just said what they've done. Crazy knowledge bombs happening everywhere. It'd probably be
All
like
the
common
time,
sense. You'll be like, what is happening? All right.
Very common sense.
Any other biz?
No, not from me.
No, not from me either. I'm looking forward to my hotel chocolat thing. One thing was annoying that I hadn't seen my family. I saw my family for the first time in a while over the weekend, and I didn't see them for Easter. I thought I'd gotten through all my Easter eggs. Fuck's sake.
Got more left.
I got another 4 to go through. Wow. So dieting starts Monday.
Still don't get Easter. Still don't get it. Still don't get Easter.
I know. I'll bring you an egg next time. All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
See you later.